Hello and welcome to The Proof, your go-to destination for fact-checking powered by Africa Check. Today, we're examining Nigeria's education sector, especially with the recent appointment of a new education minister, Dr. Tunji Alausa, who assumed office on October 24, 2024. Stepping into this role during a critical period, Dr. Alausa inherits numerous unresolved issues. Recently, former federal lawmaker Dakuku Peterside shared his recommendations for education reforms in an article addressed to Dr. Alausa. But how accurate are these claims? We'll find out after this break. I'm your host, Dashen Usman. Welcome back. Today, we're joined by Africa Check senior researcher and community manager Allwell Okpi, who will help us separate facts from assumptions. Welcome, Allwell.
Good day, Dashen. It's great to be here.
Let's dive right in, Allwell. One of Peterside's claims is that only about 7% of the 2024 federal budget was allocated to education, based on a World Bank report. Is this figure accurate?
Not really. Peterson cited the World Bank, but he didn't provide the exact source or the document he was referring to, and so we checked the federal budget documents, and we found that education budget accounted for 8.2% of the total budget, and not the 7% that he quoted, and the total education allocation amounted to 2.36 trillion. Right. So looking at it, we probably the 7% that Peterson referred to, probably did not take into account the separate 700 billion allocation to TET fund, which is the Tertiary Education Trust Fund. So really, while both figures, whether you're talking about 8.2 or 7%, both of them fall short of recommended funding, then the discrepancy is quite significant, and it sort of demonstrates the issue of lack of accuracy in its aim, and underscores why it's important for us to use precise numbers in policy discussions.
A lack of accuracy there. Great. Now, continuing with the recommendations, Peterside also compared Nigeria's education funding to the UNESCO recommended allocation benchmark of 15 to 20%. But what does UNESCO actually recommend?
For this one, Peterson wasn't far off, but then there are more nuances around this. So it's generally quoted that this is a UNESCO recommendation, right? But this benchmark wasn't just something that was brought up by UNESCO. That there are multiple UN agencies involved in this, and if you look at the Incheon Declaration, at the aid, and you discover that it wasn't just the UN agencies, but also it was sort of a benchmark that was agreed on by governments of many nations across the world, to say that 4 to 6% of the GDP, or 15 to 20% of the national budget, should be spent on education.
Let's talk about out-of-school children. Peterside claimed that over 10.5 million Nigerian children are out of school. How accurate is this figure?
That number is outdated. I mean, that's 10.5 million out-of-school children has been used for over a decade now. I mean, people have been quoting for over a decade. But looking at more recent numbers, there's this UNESCO report for 2024-2025, education, global education monitoring report. It puts the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria at 18.2 million, and this includes primary schools and secondary school kids, right? And then of course, on the numbers, the highest concentration was in northern Nigeria. So finally, this reveals that quite a number of Nigerians do not realize how deep the issue of out-of-school children is.
All right, Allwell, he also said that Nigeria has the highest rate of out-of-school children globally. Is Nigeria truly at the top?
That's not accurate. While Nigeria has one of the highest numbers of out-of-school children in the world, it's not among the countries with the highest rates globally, right? You can have countries like South Sudan, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Mali, and quite a number of other countries that have higher rates than Nigeria. Based on recent figures of the UNICEF, Nigeria's rate is somewhere around 26% for primary school children and 25% for junior secondary, and then in senior secondary has the highest rate of 34%. While we have countries that have well over 60%. And this also shows a mistake that people make a lot of the time, sort of mistaking total number with rates, which is not always the case.
Great insights there, Allwell. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll fact check other recommendations by Peterside. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. The proof continues. Now, Allwell, Dakuku Peterside stated that poverty and conflict in northern Nigeria are the main causes for the high out-of-school rates there. Is this accurate?
Yes, this claim is correct and is consistent with data. The UNICEF 2023 report supports this aim by Peterson, and it shows that states like Bauchi, Borno, Yobe, and quite a number of other northern states have rates above 50%, especially for primary school, and then of course we know what goes on in those regions.
Lastly, Allwell, Peterside further stated that over 50% of Nigerian teachers lack the qualifications to teach effectively. Does data support this position?
No, it is not correct because the Nigeria Education Management Information System 2022 that over 70% of teachers in primary and secondary school were qualified. All right, and so the essence figure obviously have been influenced by the general perception of low standards of teachers in our school, but actually it is not that bad.
Wow. Thank you for joining us on today's episode, Allwell, and also for clarifying these points.
It's great to be here.
It's clear that while Dakuku Peterside's claims highlight real issues, accuracy matters in driving effective reform. Misinformation in policy can lead to misallocated resources and misinformed solutions. We'll keep monitoring the education sector under Dr. Alausa's leadership. And to our viewers, thank you for joining us on The Proof. If you have comments or claims you want us to fact check, tweet at AfricaCheck_NG. Follow News Central on our social media platforms at News Central TV. And visit our website at www.newscentral.africa. Stay informed and stay alert. I'm Dashen Usman, signing out.